Which FPL content creator has the best logo? You decide. Yes, the 22-23 Premier League season might be over, but that doesn't mean the FPL fun has to stop here. I've picked out 128 FPL content creators here on YouTube, some with 100,000 subscribers and others with 10 subscribers, to find out who has the best logo on the platform. This will be decided by you, the FPL community, voting for which creator you collectively think deserves the award for the greatest FPL channel logo here on YouTube. Here's how it's going to work. All 128 logos will be inserted into a giant selection wheel and be drawn out one at a time, completely at random. Once a logo is drawn out, it will be entered into a group. Each group will contain 4 logos. With 128 logos in total, it means there'll be a total of 32 groups. So how does a logo progress from its group? That's where you come in. Each group will be publicly visible over on the community tab on my YouTube channel, and there you'll have a chance to vote for your favourite logo. The top 2 logos from each group will progress to the next stage, and the 3rd and 4th place logos will be eliminated from the competition. If 2 logos are tied for 2nd place, then those 2 logos will go into a separate poll, where the community will have the final say on which one to send through. If the voting remains a split 50-50 decision, then both logos will go into a virtual coin toss to see who progresses. To begin with, there will be a preliminary group stage with 128 logos, then a further group stage containing 64 logos. After that stage, 32 logos will remain, and go head-to-head in a knockout-style tournament to eventually find out which creator has the greatest FPL logo on the platform. And without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So it's time for the group stage draw of the logo competition, where I'm going to pick out 16 groups of 4 logos completely at random, and you'll have the chance to vote for which logos you'd like to send through to the knockout stage of the tournament. But first, let's see which logos made it through the first round and into today's draw. Kicking off with Group 1, where FPL Greece received more than 50% of the votes, and Net That Haul FPL also made it through to the next round with 30%. Group 2 contained a real split in the votes, but Dylan RCM and FPL Empire just about managed to make it through with 30% and 25% of the votes respectively. In Group 3 there was a landslide victory for FPL Mate with over 2/3 of the votes. The FPL Manager and Vendetta FPL strategies went into a tiebreaker, which saw the FPL Manager take the win with 74% of the vote. Group 4 was much closer, however 2 logos managed to make it into the next round with 36% and 30% of the votes, which were FPL Punk and All About FPL. Group 5 saw a very close battle for first place. Never Loosen FPL took that spot by a 1% margin over FPL TV. However, both logos progressed to the next round. Half of the total votes in Group 6 went to FPL Black Box, who emerged as the community's clear favourites. FPL Seal took 2nd place with 21% of the votes. In Group 7, FPL Carletto won the group convincingly with 42% of the total votes. FPL Consult took 2nd place, receiving just over a quarter of the vote. Group 8 saw Not So Template FPL receiving just over half of the total votes, and FPL Family just managed to make it through, beating FPL Talk by 4% of the votes. The FPL Way received close to half the total votes in Group 9, and FPL Nim managed to also make it through with 29% of total votes. 2 clear favourites emerged from Group 10. They were FPL Warrior and Above Average FPL, who received 40% and 33% of votes respectively. A similar story occurred in Group 11, where the community decided that the 2 best logos in the group were Fantasy Football Scout and FPL Harry, who will both be going through to the next round. Group 12 was absolutely dominated by FPL Raptor, who managed to pick up more than 3/4 of the total vote. Congrats to FPL King, who also progressed with just 12% of the vote. Another logo that clearly outshone their group, progressing to the next stage with 78% of votes, was Let's Talk FPL. You'll Never FPL alone was the other logo to make it through Group 13. FPL Fantasy Arabia was victorious in Group 14 with 42% of votes. It was close between FPL Zay and FPL Inzaghi, but the latter just about managed to scrape through with 29% of the community choosing them. Two logos completely dominated Group 15, which were Holly Shand FPL and the FPL Wire, who received a combined total of 81% of total votes. FPL Social won Group 16 fairly convincingly with 57% of votes. However, it ended up being close between the three remaining logos. FPL Dare just about took second spot with 21% of the votes. In Group 17, Elite FPL took first spot with 45% of the votes, but not far behind was the big hitters FPL, who also made it through to the group stage with 36% of the votes. Half of the total votes in Group 18 went to Nathan Bacon FC FPL, who won the group in pretty straightforward circumstances. FPL Minute was the other logo to also progress to the next stage. FPL Advice took the lion's share of votes in Group 19, finishing on 45%. It was close between the next two logos, but FPL Tribe just edged it with 29% of the community's votes. In Group 20, a convincing winner emerged in FPL Insight, who received just over 50% of the total votes. FPL Backbenchers just managed to beat FPL Football Herd to second place by 1%. Two logos emerged as clear favourites in Group 21. Total Tactics FPL brought home the majority of votes with 54%, whereas Captain FPL picked up 29% of votes. A landslide victory occurred in Group 22, where FPL Focal managed to gain 70% of total votes. The community also decided to send through FPL Trash Talk with just under a quarter of the votes. Receiving over 3/4 of the votes between them was Optimized FPL and FPL Cougars, and with that, both logos easily progressed through to the group stage. A much closer battle occurred in Group 24. FPL Escapades took top spot with 30% of votes. FPL Centre and FPL Rue went into a tiebreaker for second place, which unfolded with the former progressing to the next stage with 52 to 40% of the total vote. A close contest also took place in Group 25, where FPL Longshots won the group with 37% of total votes, and FPL Team Talk joined them not too far behind on 33%. The community decided that Planet FPL was the clear favourite in Group 26, receiving just over half of the votes. FPL Borneo also made it through to the group stage after gaining 24% of votes. A very similar scenario played out across Group 27. FPL Tips took the lion's share of votes with 56%, and receiving just less than half of that, but also progressing through was FPL Tanzania. In Group 28, Davey FPL and FPL Graduates made it through to the next round fairly convincingly with 42% and 34% of the community's votes respectively. Similarly to Group 28, Group 29 had two logos that stood out as clear favourites in the eyes of the community, so well done to FPL General and FPL Air for making it through to the group stage. Fantasy Football Hub's logo took the crown for Group 30, with a very respectable 62% of total votes. FPL Bob finished in second place with 21% of the vote. Group 31 saw Golden Goal Fantasy Football take top spot with 35% of total votes. FPL Inkling came second, receiving 8% more votes than the FPL Routine. Finally, we ended the preliminary round with drama in Group 32. Midnight Mule FPL topped the group by a single percent, while Simply FPL and Tony Fantasy Football went into a tiebreaker. This one went one way and then the other, but finally Tony Fantasy Football managed to edge out the win just as the deadline passed. So those are our winners and our runners-up. Now it's time to draw them against each other at random in the final group stage round of the tournament. Kicking off the competition in Group 1 we have FPL Consult, Above Average FPL, Davey FPL, and FPL Punk. The first logo in Group 2 is Total Tactics FPL, FPL Advice, FPL Mate, and FPL Bob. In Group 3 we have FPL TV, FPL Warrior, FPL Carletto, and FPL Family. Making Group 4 is FPL Social, FPL Greece, Golden Goal Fantasy Football, and FPL Backbenchers. To begin with, in Group 5 is Not So Template FPL, FPL King, FPL Tanzania, and Fantasy Football Hub. Group 6 includes FPL Graduates, FPL Inkling, FPL General, and FPL Minute. The logos in Group 7 are FPL Harry, the FPL Way, FPL Borneo, and Tony Fantasy Football. First up in Group 8 is FPL Centre, Nathan Bacon FC FPL, FPL Empire, and FPL Escapades. Moving on to Group 9. Optimised FPL, Holly Shand FPL, FPL Black Box, and FPL Tribe. The logos making it into Group 10 are FPL Dare, Let's Talk FPL, FPL Inzaghi, and Fantasy Football Scout. First up in Group 11 is FPL Tips, FPL Nim, FPL Longshots, and FPL Fantasy Arabia. Making Group 12 we've got FPL Trash Talk, FPL Seal, Captain FPL, and the Big Hitters FPL. Competing in Group 13 is FPL Insight, FPL Team Talk, All About FPL, and Dylan RCM. The 4 logos we have in Group 14 are FPL Focal, Planet FPL, Neverlucent FPL, and the FPL Manager. In Group 15 we have Midnight Mule FPL, FPL Air, Elite FPL, and You'll Never FPL Alone. And finally in Group 16, FPL Raptor, FPL Cougars, the FPL Wire, and Net That Haul FPL. So that's the draw for this round of fixtures. Remember, if you'd like to contribute to the series by voting for which logo you believe deserves to be crowned champion, you can vote for your favourites by heading over to the community tab on my YouTube channel and getting involved. One day after this video goes live, voting will commence on the community tab. Ties will take place at 9 AM, 12 PM, 3 PM and 6 PM UK time each day, until all the groups have been posted. Exactly one day after the final group is live, voting will close for that round, and I'll calculate the results of each group. If there are tiebreakers to be played, each will take place the day after the final group has been posted. Once the results of all groups are in, I'll put another video together where I'll do the draw for the next round. That video will be premiered here on YouTube, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on so that you're able to watch the draw live with everyone else. Please remember that you're voting for which FPL logo you think is the best, not which creator you like the most. Things that might constitute best might be factors like whether the logo makes you think of FPL, its colour scheme, how professional it looks, or just your personal preference. Click here to watch the next video in the series and see which logos make it through to the next round of the competition. Thank you all for watching.